What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. Whether you're watching live, watching back, whatever the case may be, really appreciate you for making us a part of your day. My name's Mike Singer. I run our YouTube operation and cover recruiting for blueandgold.com. And Tim Hyde is a pretty face who talks about football and chats on the message board. Tim, how are you doing, my friend? You feeling better and everything?
Oh yeah. Doing great, man. We're in the middle of Notre Dame spring football. Nobody knows anything, so what could be better than this, right? It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
We had a real quick up here in New Hampshire where I'm at. Everything was melted, Mike. We got a foot of snow yesterday, so don't mess with Mother Nature. That's all I'm going to say. Right when you think it's cool, 55 the spring, it was negative 15 on Sunday. Monday you get a foot of snow. So reality hits you pretty quick up here sometimes.
Yeah, you talked about we don't know anything. It's only been 3 practices. It was last Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And then
4.
they no practice Sunday. Unless I don't think they practiced today.
There was a video today which tells me they may have.
Maybe they did practice today.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
maybe today's number 4, but
3 or 4.
Yeah. The quarterback battle is very tight, and it is there. If you think, well, maybe they know already what they're doing, they really don't. Notre Dame has not decided anything with those 3 quarterbacks. Tim, I wanted to give you the floor real quick to discuss something you picked up at a what was it, like a card show? What?
I didn't even bring it, but I will.
You didn't bring it? You had it the past 2 or 3 weeks.
You got to remind me, but I will bring it for the fans. So, yes, I actually have, and we keep forgetting to talk about it. But real quick, I took my son to a card show down here in southern New Hampshire, and walking around, I was actually wearing my home field hoodie.
Nice.
Looking really nice in my Notre Dame gear. And here's this little 15-year-old kid's like, "Hey, you a Notre Dame fan?" I'm like, yeah. I actually do a podcast with this guy, Mike Singer. And he's like, "Yeah, I've heard of Mike." Actually, that's false, as we all know. But I show the kid, the show I do. And the dad's like, "Oh, that's so cool." So I was like, "Yeah, it's okay. We got like 3 fans." But anyway, he said, "Hey, are you interested in this card?" And I just start laughing. It's Steve freaking Angeli. I was like, "Really? Steve Angeli. I love it." He shows me it's autographed. And I was just like, "Well, that's not bad for a 3-year backup." So I was like, that's a pretty good card right there. So we start wheeling and dealing. I was like, "I'm going to come back to you at the end." So we roam around. He sees me. He's like, "Notre Dame." And I go back over and we just start wheeling and dealing for this card. He's like, $15. It's like $15. It's like, he doesn't start. I was like, "How are you getting $15 for a career backup now?" I was like, he's in the fight of his life. So we go back and forth. We're just smack talking, having fun. The kid's dad's awesome. So I end up spending $7 on Steve Angeli. We whittled. We went back and forth. And the kid went on ESPN, his profile. He's like, "Hey, sir, he did start a game." I was like, "Yeah, damn Sun Bowl always gets in the way." So I upped the price. I went from 5 to 7. It was nice. So it was a good cause. But I will bring it next week. It's an unbelievable card. Great autograph. I've seen it on the internet, so I know he's done some cards. So
guess how many he signed?
I have a Steve Angeli card signed. So
guess how many he signed? Guess how many?
22.
8,000.
Okay, well there you go.
I got a good bit of them.
How it ended up in southern New Hampshire, I love it. But so I'm rooting for Steve, Heisman Trophy winner. That card's going to skyrocket and pay my mortgage 1 month. So I'm looking forward to
that. All right, we'll have to see it next week. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. We're going to be talking some recruiting. Gino Gaduli talked to the media last week. Tim wants to talk about some things that Gino said. We are going to discuss the Stanford news. And then we haven't done this in a while, maybe it's like 6 months or so. The YouTube live chat is usually our regulars. I mean, the typical people who are in every single YouTube Notre Dame show, like, it's you dedicated folks. And then the comments on the video after it's aired live can be 50-50 on if it's a fan or a hater. So I have like I got like 6 or 7 recent comments on our YouTube videos and shows after they've aired live that I thought would be interesting to discuss for one reason or another. So that's on tap for today's show. But Tim, let's start with Gaduli spoke about experience. I did a little control. Let's see. Look at experience in this article. He mentioned it when he met with the media 7 times. I'm trying to.
And we thought Freeman talked about experience a lot. I'm like, I actually listened to it again.
7 times he mentioned the word experience.
Exactly. So I listened
Or
to
6
it
times
tonight just to be like, all right, let's see what he has to say again. Because I read the transcript, I've heard the transcript, and I keep coming up with this experience, and I'm just like, so are we going with the best quarterback or the guy that's taken the most snaps in the fourth quarter? So that's kind of where I guess I'm coming at, because especially how much he used that, because he, one of the questioners was like, hey, talk about each of the quarterbacks, and it's like basically reading between the lines, and Jelly's got the most experience, Carr's probably the best quarterback, Minchie's the best athlete. That's his little 1 second blurb on each guy. So
which
I'm
makes
like,
sense.
so are we going with the best quarterback or the best athlete, or once again the guy that's taken the most fourth quarter snaps? So I keep going over this experience, and I don't do nothing in my life, Mike. So I bust out the Tim Hyde, stat book here, and I'm just like, what is this experience? Because I'm curious. Obviously, the Sun Bowl, because Hartman refused to play and he had to do a shampoo commercial, so he sat that out. And we fully understand that. We fully understand that. He's looking great right now for the Commanders. So I start looking up in Jelly, and these are the times now, the time stamps he's come into the game. 2023. You got to give me 45 seconds. What else is there to do? Right? Navy. He comes in for the last drive and they're up 42-3. Tennessee State plays the whole second half against that powerhouse FCS school when they're up 35-3. Central Michigan, they're up 41-17. He doesn't play till the last drive. Pittsburgh, he gets in, plays when they're up 44-0.
Throw it a touchdown. Beautiful ball.
Exactly. Unbelievable ball against that competition at Pitt. Wake Forest, he plays when they're up 38-7.
All right, we understand.
Hold on, Mike. Stanford. No, because I keep hearing about this experience. He plays the fourth quarter when they're up 56-7. It's even worse in 2024 because obviously they blow everybody out. So you can look at the scores. Every single one, they're up by 40-something points when he plays. So obviously he comes in Penn State, has the drive. Riley Leonard gets him a couple first downs, and Jelly finish it, and they get the field goal. And it's just like, and then I come back to Gino's press conference, and it's spring. You could take that with a grain of salt with half these coaches, what they're talking about. But I was like, man, that dude just keeps mentioning his experience. So if experience is such a big thing, going back to what we talked about before, why didn't you go get an experienced quarterback? Is then Jelly truly the guy? And if he is the guy, Mike, Riley Leonard's playing with like half an arm against NIU, but they didn't sit him. They didn't put in, you know what, we got this guy in Jelly. He could lead us. He gets his lungs blown out against Louisville, and they make sure they rush his butt back in there. So it's just all of these numbers and the experience. I'm trying to figure out when in Jelly plays. Yes, he has great stats in fourth quarters when you're up 50. No doubt about that. So if he, and last thing is if he does win this thing because of experience, is that more about him, or you got 2 elite 11 quarterbacks, really good football players? Does it say more about them that they can't beat out in Jelly? So it's just an interesting quarterback battle, especially after I heard about the experience part with Gaduli.
Okay, so you think it's just coach talk and he's full of crap and Steve doesn't have experience? Because I think part of the experience discussion is just, I mean, he's been around forever. It feels like that. I think that's a part of it, and kind of like the locker room aspect as well. But yeah, I mean, I think his experience is overblown. But when you compare it to what Notre Dame has in Kenny and CJ, they haven't played a single meaningful snap combined.
Okay, so once again, are we playing the best quarterback? Or are we playing the guy that's taken the most snaps in the fourth quarter?
Well, the variable is how ready is CJ Carr? Because if CJ Carr is your best quarterback and he's ready to play against Miami, he should start 100%.
Okay,
but
good.
is he ready? That's the
Well,
question. We don't know.
So if he's not ready after 2 springs, 2 training camps, what the heck's Gino doing? He's played 2 transfers, and now we're going with the senior that's been the backup for 3 years. So it's just constant. The older guys are the guys, right? And if Minchie's truly the best athlete, and Denbrock's got a history with really good athletic quarterbacks from Notre Dame the first time, to Notre Dame the second time, and obviously LSU and Cincinnati in between, what's going on with Minchie in that whole realm of the quarterback battle? So it's just interesting because, and be honest with you, I got it right here. Mr. Todd Burlage's latest article. I found this at the bottom. Hold on, let me read this last little paragraph from Todd, and this really got me peeking because I read this today for the first time. Make no mistake, there's a reason why Carr was rated the top 10 quarterback in his recruiting class. He's a great player, and his time will come. Well, when's his time going to come? If Angeli starts in 25, isn't he the quarterback in 26? So Carr comes in 27?
Not necessarily.
So you're going to waste a whole season on a quarterback and then redo this a year from now? But if experience means everything in 25, it doesn't mean anything in 26. But okay. But given that Notre Dame opens its season at Miami and returns home to play A&M in Game 2, there's no time to use the projected promise over the proven performance with this crucial quarterback decision. What's the proven performance? The bootleg against Pitt? It may be. So it's the quarterback. It's fun. It's always great to talk to, but it's like the national media is talking. And Cover 3 podcast was like Angeli. And obviously Todd's talking about it. Sampson's been writing about it in The Athletic. And then everything is Guduli's mentioned, as you said, 7 times. And I'm just like, wow, this is fascinating. So just another little blurb as we talk about the quarterback room here in this wonderful spring, because what else is there to talk about?
Man, you start with the high of you got a signed card from him, and now everything is awful. I don't.
No, I didn't say everything's awful. It's just it's just interesting. It really is fascinating because you think he's going to be the starter. Horka thinks he's going to be the starter, and you two are constantly saying it's the experience. Well, outside of an Oregon State team with missing 7 coaches, for crying out loud, and there had guys like me coaching on the sidelines, the game experience has all been in blowouts when you're up 42-0. So is that really that meaningful? Unless he truly is the best player, and Carr and Minchie are 2 of the most overrated.
Okay. All right. So we agree it's spring ball coach speak, right?
But he mentioned it 7 times.
6. It was 6. My bad. But it was 6 times about experience. I don't know what the context was about Steve every single time. But if we agree it's coach speak, why are we diving in so hard on the experience factor? Like, Notre Dame wants to play the quarterback who's going to give them the best chance to beat whoever they're playing against.
Gotcha.
So that's where I land on it. If it's CJ, if it's Steve, if it's Kenny, I don't care. I just play whoever's best. That's.
Hey, I'm the same way. I mean, I want damn wins and.
But you're really leaning in on the.
Well, it's just fascinating because this has been the mantra with Steve, and really for the first time, I'm like, okay, we know he's throwing passes and all that, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna go timestamp every time he's come into the game and really dissect when he's played. So
I think game experience is overblown if you're just going on that and you're talking about experience for you, Steve. I think it's more about time at Notre Dame. Time with Gino, the leadership qualities. I think, and then there is the. Did we talk about this last week? If he doesn't play against Penn State, this discussion about Angeli is completely different. It's completely different, in my opinion. I think that Penn State drive, and one of the YouTube comments is anti-Angeli. We're going to talk about it, but I don't know what it looks like, but I don't think he's as sexy as of a figure in terms of like what the national media and even Notre Dame media are talking about with Steve. He does not have that without the Penn State drive. So,
and even that drive, it's 37 yards. It's not like you took him down 88 yards, and was throwing 15-yard out routes and a couple back shoulder fades. It was, slant, a couple dumps to Aeneas Williams, and a quick.
I know, but you know what
spot.
Notre Dame did on offense before that? Not really anything at all.
Exactly. Oh, no, I get it. Riley got that drive going, and then he got 15, 20 yards to get them moved up to near midfield, and then Jelly led it, and he got the field goal. We've talked about that. That was unbelievable. It's just, I guess, it's the constant, what is the quarterback criteria? At the end of the day, yes, the best one's going to play.
You hope. Yeah.
You hope. Exactly. Well, you know what? I mean, it's a coach's decision. The coaches are going to pick the guy that they feel is their best pick. So at the end of the day, it's obviously their decision. They're going to go with the one they feel is, the rightful heir to this football season. But I'm going to stick to my stupid talking point, Mike, and that's whoever's the guy in 25 is the guy in 26.
I don't think it's that black and white. I just don't think it's that black and white. I just don't.
But how I don't. So if Angeli goes out and starts, and he performs
not good,
well,
injuries.
Well, injuries come and go. So obviously injuries. I mean, look at Buckner, for crying out loud. That obviously shaped his entire, football, career. Once that thing went.
But just
down,
ineffectiveness. Need a change. Need a spark.
Well, if he goes out and he wets the bed and they're 0-2 and he's ineffective, sure. I'm talking about a quarterback that goes and finishes the season.
Yeah.
So if they come out and they struggle and they lose at Miami, they just out athlete them for a day, and then the heat down there, and Notre Dame struggles and Jelly just wets it. They come home, lose to A&M. A&M's fighting for revenge. Elko's like, can I get one damn win against Freeman? And he ekes one out 17-16. And they go a change, and it's Kenny or CJ, and they finish the rest of the season. Whoever finished, I mean, come on, those guys. Whoever finishes now is obviously the 26th.
Right.
So that's
we're on the same. Yeah, we're on the exact same page. That's what I'm saying. I have been saying whoever starts Miami, I don't know who's going to start A&M. Like I could see a scenario where they roll out Steve, and if Steve balls out and he goes, 11-1, 12-0, going to playoffs, maybe you have a really good problem on your hands for 26. But yeah, if he does, wet the bed, and it's like, all right, we need to kind of revitalize, rejuvenate the season, then you go to someone else. But tinfoil hat, shout out to Ghouls. I still feel like one of the guys. I don't think they're going to go into the football season with 4 scholarship quarterbacks. Just don't think so. I don't think so.
Let me ask you this, because I keep hearing, obviously, someone's going to transfer. What major?
You program? Guys, all I heard was Pine is never going to leave, and Pine left. I called that one.
What major program needs a quarterback? So unless they're just going to go to Spanky U and just go start, Minchie's in his junior year. Hell, stay and get a degree and transfer. You got 2 years. Carr's the young one. If Carr can't win this job, he's the one that it's like, unless he's a true number 2. So that's, if Carr's number 3, what the heck's he sticking around for, right? To have another shot next spring. Because obviously once you start the season, you're in line and this is who you're playing with,
Tim's talking about Augie's locker room, the place to go for Notre Dame, unique Notre Dame memorabilia. Like, you missed it. Use team issue Notre Dame football clothing. I mean, you can still have the opportunity to pick up a 2011 Notre Dame football game used Tyler Eifert helmet in the Champs Bowl, Tim. And you also have signed jerseys from Chris Zorich, Kyle Rudolph, Chase Claypool, and how about Rudy? You want a Rudy signed jersey? Not game worn, but pretty neat opportunities here. And I feel like you're picking up some of these things for less than $200. pretty neat thing to throw up in your man cave. So check out augieslockerroom.com and make sure you head to 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend, just down the street from Notre Dame, whenever you're in town. If Augie doesn't have something in store, he's going to be able to go out and find it for you as well. He's got some amazing stuff, folks. You're going to want to see it. So head to augieslockerroom.com. or give them a call, 574-277-6363. That's augieslockerroom.com, a longtime sponsor of Blue and Gold. Augie's a great guy. Got to talk to him on the phone a couple months ago. He loves partnering with Blue and Gold. We love partnering with Augie. Part of why I love partnering with them is it's, such a unique Notre Dame store. Perfect sponsorship. Man, the Jerome Bettis signed jersey? I mean, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Tim, moving along.
I'm holding out for juniors, so that's the one I'm holding out for.
Say that again?
I'm holding out for juniors, Bettis juniors. So
Tim is on one today. You just never know. I had no idea where we were going when you wanted to talk about the Geno thing, but you're just on one today. So we'll see where you...
Real quick, talking about, obviously, you were talking about what's the bed and all the old guys in the chat. Well, 2007. I just kept thinking of 2007 when they started Demetrius Jones, who was top 50 quarterback out of Illinois, and I think did he get one series or two series against Georgia Tech? They lost 33-0. That's after Quinn and all his guys left, and he never played again. He ended up transferring to Cincinnati and played linebacker. So that was just a mess in 2007. So I don't think we're going to see that in 25 with that type of picking of quarterback. So I just thought of that, little old time memories there.
Some rival news. So Stanford fired Troy Taylor. There's a few things to discuss here. One, that we're not going to dive into the allegations and all of that stuff, to be completely honest. Half because I don't want to, half because I wasn't even following it. But Troy Taylor did some bad things and got fired. All right, items here to discuss. One, Andrew Luck. Stanford's GM made the decision, which just has to be the first GM firing. I mean, I can't imagine the GM is higher than the head coach, but I guess at Stanford for this particular instance, he was. Secondly, the 30-day transfer portal window will now open for Stanford players in March. That's interesting. So Stanford, I mean, look, when Notre Dame is able to take undergrad transfers, it's been at, schools like Duke, Northwestern. I bet you Notre Dame could get some undergrads in from Stanford. I can't imagine there's too many that Notre Dame would want from Stanford, but I can tell you there's a damn good receiver who has some Notre Dame connections. You know his name. His name's Emmett Mosley. So that could be really interesting to him. And then the third note, I was just curious for your thought about, we've definitely talked about this before, but the Notre Dame-Stanford rivalry in general, do you like it? Do you want it to continue? So I'll give you the floor here, Tim. Talk about some of these things I just discussed.
Yeah, as far as the game itself, they're in the ACC now, so I think it's just going to probably roll into their calendar of events and play every
annually.
Play every 5 years. If they get pushed out by the, if SC drops them, and just start playing Stanford each and every year. If they can't get games with the Big Ten and the SEC, then sure, then go for it. But Stanford. Every time I think of them, I just think of 1990 and 92. So just Jim Harbaugh running Power O for 300 yards during his few years. But no, it's a great game, great rivalry. Obviously, too. Programs that, match academics and football, all that good stuff that comes with it. Obviously, you got the Four Horsemen game in the, Rose Bowl of January of 1925. So you got to go back a ways, but that's fun. As far as, for me, I've just a little bit of reading I've done on this. I think that Andrew Luck, I've already seen it on Twitter. Oh my God, the first GM to fire somebody. And it's like, first off, it's Andrew Luck. It's Andrew Luck, Plunkett, and Elway. Who's the Who's the other face of Stanford football in the history of that? Well, Pop Warner's a coach.
McCaffrey?
Yeah, you got McCaffrey. I'm talking quarterbacks, but it's Andrew
Okay.
Luck. So, secondly, they don't have an AD. So the guy, I think the AD left like a month ago. I was reading, so they don't have an AD.
So okay.
And I don't think any GM in college football, even Andrew Luck with the name he is walking up and down the halls like, you're fired, you're fired. No, Troy Taylor's owed $20 million. So I'm sure he talked to a couple lawyers and the president of the school, and they said, hey, Andrew, here you go. Bam, here's your name on this program. So I'm sure they gave him all the power to make this happen. And at the end of the day, it sounds like it was a pretty easy decision and not too earth shattering. So I don't read too much in it as this first GM because he's Andrew Luck, and who else is going to do the dang thing? They don't have an athletic director.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure that's true, but yeah, it's fascinating. Good luck to them trying to figure it out. The first name, I thought of two names right off the bat. I was like, first off, Pep Hamilton. Pep is, I think, in the pros now. He was the OC during the Harbaugh years, and then Pep was with him at Michigan. I think he's and then he was Luck's quarterback coach with the Colts. So he's coached at Stanford, and then the old quarterback, Tavita Pritchett, I believe, is in the NFL as well as a QB coach. So there's a couple Stanford guys that might get that thing.
I can't remember where I saw it. Lance Taylor. He coached McCaffrey as running backs coach. Of course, he was at Notre Dame.
And obviously he's got head coaching experience.
In the MAC.
Experience, yeah.
Was he Central or Western Michigan? Western?
Western. Yeah. Western, yeah. He's I believe he's at where Row the Boat got it rolling there, PJ Flex. So, but so there's definitely some Stanford ties out there. I don't think you would do an interim for a year, man. You might as well that's a death penalty for that program if they just let, Joe Schmo, the D tackle coach, run it for a year. So he's got to go out and get someone with some Stanford ties and roll out there. And it's Stanford. Andrew Luck's going to be okay.
Yeah. JP Poole, appreciate the 2. Says Ian is a super cool QB. Yay. Sure is, man. Love it. Congrats, Ian Book. Legend. So what about who maybe you would like to see from Stanford come over? Emmett Mosley, Tiger Bachmeier was mentioned. Hey, maybe there's a Bear Bachmeier finally. But yeah, Tiger, Emmett Mosley would be awesome.
He's probably already heading down south. So that's
Emmett, USC
gets to the degree. I'm sure Andrew Luck's having meetings with all these kids and start prepping this out. And that's why he's got to get a name. He's got to get a good football coach with a good resume, a good background of someone who could coach at Stanford.
Yeah.
So I don't know about transfers because what's Notre Dame, need, right? So, I mean, Mosley comes. Is he a top 5 wide receiver at Notre Dame? I doubt it. So, David Bailey's their heck of a pass rush guy, but
Notre Dame likes him.
They're 4 deep at Viper. So, so what do they really need over there?
So, yeah, Mosley went 48 for 525 and 6 touchdowns last year as a true freshman.
Yeah,
and that was 9 games
on a horrible football team. So yeah, he had, I'm sure you put I was gonna say Tobias, but that's a bad example. So
yeah, but he would play 6'2", 205. He would play. He would be one of your best 4 or 5. Yeah.
Really?
I think so. Emmett Mosley?
The Notre Dame receivers aren't what I'm expecting then. Holy moly. If he comes in and he's an instant top shelf contributor right away, then Notre Dame's receivers, I may be stuck at C+ again then, Mike.
Chat, you guys can tell me. Tex ND said, why are we talking Stanford transfers? Because their head coach got fired. So the portal window can open up. And I think there's a decent chance that Notre Dame will be Notre Dame will be looking to see what they could get from Stanford. It's just who's interested, are they interested, that kind of thing. Yeah, Alec Aomanor would have been great, and Notre Dame really wanted him back in the 2020 or 2021 class, and he picked Stanford. He was a baller. I really liked him. Tim, let's move into just general kind of recruiting vibes right now at Notre Dame, because it was just very much kind of Eeyore around these parts with just, your last commitment was almost 2 months ago. USC's getting commitments and all these things. And, it's like, where's Notre Dame's commitments? So it's like, one hand, we need more commitments. On the other hand, well, commitments don't matter. Like, oh, nothing matters until the dotted line is signed. So like, which one is it, folks? Like, are we excited or are we not? I don't know. But also, all this personnel shakeup. So there's a lot of, some new coaches, but Notre Dame, it's kicked into gear with spring ball starting. Kids are finally on campus, right? February was a dead period. Some schools started spring ball early in March. Notre Dame's was the 18th, 17th, so 19th. So you got a bunch of kids visiting. And Tim, this is, I'd say, the two biggest items. Rodney Dunham, a 5-star edge. So for all the people who are poo-pooing on defensive line recruiting, well, the only 5-star we get there is, he's got Notre Dame ties. It's a bright young kid. Well, Notre Dame is in great position to land Rodney Dunham. He's a 5-star defensive end from North Carolina as well. Another Charlotte kid too. Duke, Notre Dame, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. I logged a prediction for him to land at Notre Dame on Sunday, and several others have since. So we'll see. He's supposed to officially visit Georgia April 12th. So if he's taking that visit, then you think it's Georgia, but I don't know. I've heard the most positive buzz from on the Notre Dame side of things. So Rodney Dunham to Notre Dame, I would still say looks pretty good, and he's got a commitment date for April 10th. And then Joey O'Brien got a Fong bomb here. Steve Wiltfong from On3 predicted the top 100 overall athlete to Notre Dame 4 days ago, coming off of his visit to South Bend, and that is a top of the board defensive back. So you got Javion Osborne, the top 100 overall running back. Notre Dame surging for him. Had good visits with a couple other big time defensive backs in Jordan Thomas and Aiden Pouncey. Huge visits coming up this week with top 100 wide receiver Caden Finley. It's like, I get it, folks. We want to close and all these things, but to be able to close, you have to have these kids visit, right? And we're going to talk about them. So I think it's worth noting, Tim, like the vibes in recruiting are starting to pick up again. And Rodney Dunham would be number 19 overall player, number 3 edge. This would be as good as you possibly could hope for if this happens for the Irish.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember on Pot of Gold Day on our show when we were yapping about that, he was my top 3 offers. He was just like, you watch film and you're like, yeah, that's an SEC pass rusher. Okay, that's exactly who that guy is, and his film's outstanding. I know Notre Dame fans are going to be like, oh, great, he's dropping. So, but I don't think it's going to happen with this guy. He is he's a 5-star, man. There's no way around it. He is outstanding. So, really looking forward to seeing what happens. But as you say, right, when you spend a couple days in South Bend and the crystal balls, the RPM machines cranking out and all this stuff going, the bombs are being thrown. So, it's pretty obvious probably where he's leaning. So you could kiss that surprise goodbye. But, it's exciting. He's a stud. He's a flat out stud. I think that the entire Notre Dame fans, we always love to, talk about the white whale when it comes to D-line. The D-line recruiting could be freakish in this 26 class. Every single one could be a
I talked about that with Darren. We actually published that video today. So if you want more on the D-line board, you can watch that.
Oh, it could be unbelievable. I mean, Dunham could be on your short list of the picture
cover.
For the cover, unless they go to the title game and screw up the Singer cover. But which happened.
Yeah.
Which happened. But he's outstanding. And they got some excellent wide receivers are coming. I know people like to. It's funny, Mike. I went back just the other day. I was yapping with somebody, and I started looking at, people are complaining about wide receivers ad nauseum, man. It's like Freeman has signed 10, 8 are blue chips. So it's not like he's signing, the singers out of Florida running the 4-yard hitch short every time. So he's going out getting blue chip wide receivers, right? I know I love you, Singer, but you know what I mean. So no, but I'm saying they're not sticks in the muds, man. So wide receiver recruiting has been good. It was so bad, as you and I talked about, for a couple of years. It's taken a while for the pendulum to swing back and get some good guys coming on here. So they're definitely signing blue chips. They just got to perform, right? And not be flops, which they've signed some flops. So I think that's positive. D-line recruiting could be outstanding in this class. And then you round it up with another maybe 2 O-linemen. The tight end. I'm nervous as heck about tight ends, man, but they got like 10 that are coming to campus, and they all look like, Cole Kmet type guys. There's unbelievable talent. So, really looking forward to that. The running back out of Texas. It's funny. We were chatting on the message board like 2 weeks ago, talking about, no one talked about Osborne. And it's like, yeah, he ain't coming. He's literally the best one out there that they've offered. That guy's unbelievable. So the fact that he had a great visit is awesome, because that is a hell of a tailback.
I've talked about this for a long time, ever since I started covering Notre Dame. Like, you get a kid who's a Notre Dame. We hear this a lot. Notre Dame kid. If you know, you know. Like, the kids are just fit Notre Dame. Notre Dame's different, right? It's not your SEC football factory. It's just a different type of place, and it doesn't fit everyone. But when it fits you, it fits you. And Javian Osborne, I always kind of said, yeah, Notre Dame's in the mix, but it's a long shot until he visits. But when he visits, who knows? And I think that it's a Notre Dame-Michigan battle now, which if you're Notre Dame, you'd much rather go against Michigan for a Texas kid than like Texas or Texas A&M for a Texas kid. A couple comments here. JP says Tim is throwing haymakers. Yes. And they're all below the belt too. I'm hurting over here, Tim. Calm down.
Mike, I was a tight end until they saw me catch, and I ended up playing, offensive line and nose guard. So there you go.
Well, I played wide receiver, but right now I would play nose guard. Was Ben Franklin a 5-star recruit because he wore glasses? I thought that was funny. And then you guys know my
glasses. It's definitely just not the glasses, but I like that.
Yeah, Gerby Lambert. You guys know the singer mocking voice? All right, here it comes. Texendi. We've heard this before, though. I'll buy it when he signs on the line. Then why are you here? Why are any of you here listening to this or watching this show?
By the way, signing on the line.
Hold on. Tim.
No one signs anymore, so it's all worthless.
Why are you watching this show? What does any of this fodder mean? All I care about is what happens in the Miami game. Why the hell are we here? Why are any of us here? If none of this speculation and analysis, if none of it matters, then what's the point of any of it?
Speaking of Texas, the Finley kid is outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding football player. So and there's a couple other Texas guys, right? Didn't they just offer someone recent? I thought I read on the board. So I know they got the new recruitment guy. So they're getting out there. I saw you post they got a Florida State guy. So anything with Florida, cider. Penn State had like no Florida guys on their roster. All of a sudden his tie started blowing up, and now Penn State's got a dozen Florida guys in Happy Valley. Who would have thought? So yeah, anytime you see Florida moving forward, cider's got a little hands.
Yeah, the Florida State kid for sure. It's like, when has Notre Dame ever signed a kid from Miami Central? They're offering this, top public school kids, or the top public schools in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, that's cider for sure.
Yeah, no, they got a couple guys. Fort Lauderdale. Holtz had it. Vinny Serrato went down there. They had Boca, Tampa. They had a lot of Florida guys back in those days, but Miami, no. They signed a tailback, but he was James Jackson, who ended up not coming to Notre Dame. He was part of the Randy Moss class. He was just north of Miami, so he wasn't a true Miami kid. I think he was he Fort Lauderdale? I know Fort Lauderdale is 30, 40 minutes away, so we think everything's so close down there. It's still a 45-minute drive up there to Broward County. That's Broward, right? Yeah, that's Broward.
Yeah, Broward and Dade.
You get a guy out of deep Miami. Yeah, I can't.
He got his offer, and 3 days later, he's visiting. It's like, all right, pretty interesting. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. Great live viewership. I love to see it. February, it was a tough month, but it is really good to see all of our videos and content is just picking back up. So, and blueandgold.com is, of course, the place to be if you like this show and you want more Mike Singer and Tim Hyde and lots more Notre Dame coverage. Blueandgold.com is the place to be. $1 for 7 days is our current offer for you guys to check out. More details, again, blueandgold.com. All right, Tim, you have no idea what I'm about to pop up on the screen. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So you have no idea, but
well, we know it's not a 27 quarterback offer since those are taking like 6 months to figure out. So, but anyway, let's see what else you got.
I wrote about that at blueandgold.com today. So there you go. All right. So this is random YouTube comments that we have gotten in the past couple weeks. I don't know what this guy was saying this in context to, but he said, "Are you kidding me? Notre Dame talent level is miles ahead of Kelly's groups. The wide receiver recruiting will improve when we get a quarterback that can consistently," that should be who, by the way, hashtag grammar Nazi, "can consistently throw the ball downfield. Why would a top wide receiver recruit come to us and catch only 20 balls a year?" What do you think about that, Tim?
Once again, the whole entire wide receiver thing is just insane because they are signing blue chips. They're not. The Jeremiah Smiths don't go to Notre Dame. So let's just throw that out the window.
If you had glasses.
Yeah, exactly. If he had glasses, he would, right? Yeah, exactly. But they are signing good wide receivers. They just are. They just obviously got to get on the field and play. Heck, 3 of the top ones have transferred. Tobias, Rico, Braylon James. You had then Lorenzo Styles was an on-3 5-star for crying out loud. Absolute bust. Colsey never, he blocked and caught a couple of hitch routes. So they just haven't performed. I don't think they're not signing them. Some of these key guys just have not performed. So, and they've had a lot of wide receiver success. Just go back all the way back to when Weiss started with Stovall and Shamarja all the way up to Claypool. There are a dozen or so wide receivers that have all been drafted or 1,000-yard receivers, all Americans in that group. So it's a lull. It really is a pit right now. The last couple of years, when your best wide receiver is Michael Mayer, because they had to flex him out. So some of these guys they got to step up. They got to step up.
Tyler Fisher says, "Is it really about talent level or mindsets?" I'm assuming quarterback. It's both, but
I think at the end of the day, let me dive into it. At the end of the day, it's still Notre Dame, right? They're not. It's Notre Dame quarterback. Whoever wins the job obviously has performed against those guys on the other side. Notre Dame, we're all expecting to have a hell of a defense once again. So if Angeli, and I know I probably came on strong and all that, talking about experience and everything, but it's like whoever wins the damn job at the end of the day, I truly believe it earned it. I really do. I think at the end of the day, it is going to.
You did come on strong. Yes, you did.
Yeah, of course I did. I was like, hey, why not? It's the start of the show instead of talking about it at the end. So let's go have some fun. So let's just throw some stuff against the wall, see what sticks. Probably none of it, but who cares? It's a show on Tuesday night in March. Let's have some fun. So at the end of the day,
walks it back already. All right.
Hey, no, I'm just saying, whoever wins the job, true. I think did earn it. As long, if Gino's saying his press conference was really good, where he's like, yeah, we're working our tails off to give all these guys equal reps, unless their drive just goes on longer and the other guy throws a pick on his second play. Counts.
Tim, you've been around forever. College coaches. When you're being BS'd. I personally don't think that Gino is a BSer.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think even in the media, I don't think he BSs. I don't think he is. I think he's telling you guys pretty much everything truthfully. Like when he's talking to the media, even the experience thing, maybe experience isn't the best word. It's like experience as a quarterback at Notre Dame. That's not just experience on the field. There's more. I talked about that earlier, but I think he's pretty damn candid when he talks to the media.
Yeah, there was one comment like like the very first question, he just chuckled. He's like, hell, I hope somebody gets better. So, I think all his answers were very truthful. Yeah, I don't think he was trying to spin anything. He was like, no, this is a true battle. We got to figure this thing out and roll from there. But my whole thing, just another 10 seconds on the experience thing, is going back to all of our conversations with Mike Goolsby over the years on quarterback, where Mike's always talking about what's the criteria. And that's what probably piqued me on this, where it's like, is the criteria experience again? And that could be, and that could just be obviously press conference. And it was only day 2 for crying out loud. So, we got a long way to go in this battle. So experience does matter. Freeman's talked about it a bunch, but it's just one of those little tidbits. And I think if Angeli wins it, it's going to be wild to see what happens with 2 and 3. It just is.
Yeah, I thought that and this might be one of the comments, but it is. So I'm gonna save it. All right, we'll continue on. I said this earlier. YouTube live chat. I would say like 90% of the names that are with us, I've seen you before. I know it. I know you're Roger Dodger, you're Tex ND, you're Jay Carr, Steven, very familiar names. But it's the comments after we're live, and then just the Darren videos and whatever other non-live shows we put up on YouTube. You never know what you're gonna get. But I do read all of the comments. This was a video of this is yesterday, talking about Joey O'Brien and Rodney Dunham being predicted to Notre Dame. This guy says, after losing 5-star DN Keon Keeley to Notre Dame, would be nice for Notre Dame to finally get their stud defensive ends. To which I said, Bryce Young? Do we just forget about Bryce Young? But Mike, his dad, I don't give a shit. Is he not a stud defensive end? Is he like, what are we doing here? He's not a 5-star because his dad's Bryce Young. He was a 5-star defensive end last year, according to 24/7. Okay. And then this comment, we will get him for a while to use us for a bigger payday elsewhere. Hope I'm wrong. You guys use the exception too much. That has happened. But then what about the times that Notre Dame does get all the top guys, right? They do get your 5 stars. They do. So come on, guys.
Well, that's kind of going back to this unwritten new philosophy we've heard about, where they're not taking commitments, where a year ago, they had like 19, a lot of commitments. Everyone go back, Google Kyle Kelly's article from like a couple of weeks ago. It's excellent, where Kyle broke everything down over the last dozen years of commits and the early ones. And they've had a lot. They've had like 15 decommits before, in between January and, St. Patrick's Day commit. So Notre Dame fans that are complaining, do you want the 15 early commits and half leave, or do you want the half a dozen they have right now? Or 7, 7 right now. 5 of them are nationally ranked, so they have damn good, commits right now. They're like top 5 in blue chip, which is the 7 they have. So, and then you just keep moving forward, correct? You keep moving forward with what they're doing now. And Mike, you're talking to these kids, man. You just get a feeling like this thing can move up like a dozen commits here in the next 60 days in a heartbeat.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. If your daughter's walking in, then it's only a few months, right?
She's walking in a 5-month-old. No, my cat wanted in and then didn't want in, and then my wife is just like, I'm gonna kill him. Tex ND says Mike hates dissenting opinions. I don't. I love it. If I think something's dumb, I'm gonna talk about it and call you out. What do you want me to do? You want me to be PC up here and everyone is right? And
what is let me throw this out then, Mike, because it's like, what is the dissenting opinion? It's like Notre Dame fans are up and roar because they don't have 1 million commits. Well, you had 1 million commits last year, and half of them decommitted. So
maybe that's what happens with Chad Bowden in USC.
It's exactly. So, and my philosophy, I hate recruiting the way it is now. I wish it would go back to the way it used to be. Just let guys, just let them enjoy life and figure it out. I'm okay with guys committing after their junior year. It's the sophomore stuff. It's the pressure. But I like the early offers. The offers in the spring, the spring offers. These guys right now, because these are true evaluations.
Like the pot of gold?
No, I'm talking about juniors. Like, Notre Dame.
Hold on. But then you would say that that's a B-list priority or whatever. You said that in the past. Pot of gold is like the guys they really want, and then anything pretty much after that is like, oh, you weren't.
Oh, Mike, it's the guys they really want, and 90% of them don't visit. So let's be real on pot of gold now. Pot of gold is the ultimate spaghetti against the wall. Pot of gold is throw it, and if it sticks, we're eating.
A lot of those guys end up at Notre Dame, though.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
I just did the article.
Mike, do the data. If you offer, hold on,
Tim, all of their current commits were pot of gold guys, except for one.
If you offer 75 guys and you get 8 commits, that's rip roaring.
Tennessee may offer 4 to 5 times more guys than Notre Dame does.
Well, don't tell me they all commit because they.
I didn't say they all commit, but
they just
has grown and grown.
They just offered 100 guys. If they get 10 out of those 100, that's success.
What do you want them to take 45, Tim? They can't.
No. So obviously you're going to start going to your Tim Hyde B list, plan B guys, because the pot of gold is cool for a day, and then obviously it's who starts to visit off of that. If you start going off of pot of gold and do the data on who visits, it's not 50% at all. At all.
I mean, this class, just thinking off the top of my head, Joey O'Brien, pot of gold, Javian Osborne, pot of gold, Rodney Dunham, pot of gold, Braden Robinson,
far and away their best one. It is their best one compared to 23, 24, 25. Is 27 even going to be better?
6 of 7 commits, pot of gold guys.
7 out of 70. So there you go. So it's not, but they still have a handful more to go. I'm just saying, when you throw out 75 offers, Mike, your numbers are going to be low. So let's don't act like.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter when you offered them. If you offered 90 kids in one day, okay, you're still only going to take. You can only take so many.
Yeah, you take 25. So there you go.
These are still interesting. I'm just. V-Dub here said, I have no faith in Angeli. Kind of wish he would have transferred. I'm like, damn. This is on one of our Notre Dame 6-pack shows tomorrow at 5 p.m., by the way. I have no faith in Angeli. Kind of wish he would have transferred. I get this part. If you don't have faith in Angeli, it's fine, but kind of wish he would have transferred. Notre Dame really disagrees with you. Notre Dame does not want him to transfer. If Steve Angeli is QB2, you have a top. How many better QB2s out there are you going to have than Angeli in terms of that hashtag experience? I don't know. He's definitely top of the list, or in the top. So that's V-Dub. I kind of wish Steve would have transferred.
Well, if he transfers, then you got a Carr versus Minchie battle. So there you go. I'm telling you, the Notre Dame fans want the shiny hot guy. They just do. They, the Elite 11 quarterback, the guy that shined. They do. And if Steve wins that, that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
We're going to get
in the QB room.
We're going to talk about that because I have a thought. Not yet, though. Tom says, I cannot believe people think Angeli is a serious contender. If Angeli could leave the contender, if Angeli could lead the team, they would not have gone to the portal the last 2 years. People think he did a great job in the PSU drive. But Angeli demonstrated in that drive why he's not the guy. Penn State got a sack fumble that should have ended the drive and potentially ended the game, but Notre Dame miraculously recovered it. Denbrock clearly likes dual threats, which it appears both Carr and Minchie deliver. The competition is between those two guys, and hopefully the guy who finishes second stays on, because you're one play away from being the starter. What do you think, Tim? Do you agree with Tom?
Once again, Tim doesn't have much to do, so I looked up the plays in Penn State. Look how prepared I got today. So there we go.
Let me see that again.
Just my little notes, my little chicken scratch. Hold on.
I like it.
The lights on it. It's so bright. Jeez. So after the sack fumble, you get a 12-yard pass, 5-yard pass, incomplete, +4, 20 seconds to go. And then you got a third down pass to Aeneas Williams for a first down. Then he takes another sack and they kick the field goal. So, I mean, he still went out there and got 4 completions, 4 completions that lead him right down the field and kicked that field. That field goal was huge. We talked about it live that night in the Orange Bowl. That was
What a night.
Because the game felt like it was 21-0.
Yeah.
After they went 98 yards or whatever, Penn State, they could have went 198 yards on that drive. Notre Dame was stopping them. The game just felt like a smash fest. And then that opening drive when they only got a field goal, the guy's wide open, and it's a bad throw by Allard because Snead and Moore screwed up the bracket coverage there. It was more Snead, and the guy slips out. So that game could have been over at halftime.
Over.
They got 3 points, man. They got 3 points. Changes the narrative of Notre Dame football. Keeps the narrative going on Mr. James Franklin.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
Okay, so Steve has taken some bad sacks. There was one against Purdue. It was
Purdue. He's right.
What the hell are you doing? The Penn State ones were not that. He got sacked twice in that drive, right?
Yeah, the one where Baker came in for nap, right, and got ran over.
Had like 1 second to throw. I'm like,
I know. And then Wagner got beat by Carter.
It's bad. Like, guys, I am with you. Steve has to get the pocket presence has to improve. But that was not what happened in the Penn State game. I don't know what the hell you're looking at if you think that's the case. But the competition, he says, the top competitions between those guys, it is not. I mean, we can talk about this later, Tom. That's just not true. But continuing on, some more interesting comments. And I know I sound like an angry guy here, but this is what stood out to me. These are the comments in the past couple weeks that stood out to me. In this video we did, it was CJ Carr, and we put Angeli on the cover from the first practice. And we just, the best photos we got from our photographer was CJ Carr and Steve Angeli. So I put them on the cover. Tim, you would not believe the comments we got. Why just Angeli and CJ on the pic? Why isn't Minchie included? Starting with the BS already. Do better. Okay. So
Mike, this one, or is that
that one? I was pissed.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. No, hold that up, Tim.
Yeah, I got you.
They wanted to use, because we didn't have a picture of the three of them, and that was the best picture that we had for the cover of our magazine. And I said, no, I don't think we should do that. I think we should do an inset with or like a blue background and cut them all out and put them on there. They didn't want to, so I agree with that. I think that was BS. But for this, my point of bringing this comment up is, Tim, you were talking about this shiny toy, like everyone wants that Elite 11 guy. You would think the vocal group would be more of Carr. And there's definitely Carr vocal, like pushing for Carr and Twitter and everything. But the Minchie one is like the mob. The mob for Minchie. I'm not going to call it Minchie's mob because Minchie's not leading it. But the mob for Minchie is out there on social media. They're just like, I want Ken. And they're just like in your face aggressive about it. Starting with the BS already. It's like, damn.
Hey, best guy's going to win it. Let's go beat Miami.
All right, Tim doesn't want to talk about it. Tim's like this. Yeah.
With the Minchie mob, I got to read more comments in. That's funny.
All right, here was one. This one was just the other day. This was the Notre Dame football versus NIU Huskies postgame reaction show. Guy comments the other day, watching these postgame shows back. What a season. I watched the first minute. Look at me. I put my arm, look, I put my hands in my head here. This show was something else. I watched like 10 minutes of it the other day after I saw this comment. Yeah. If you guys have some time to kill, watch 10 minutes of this, scroll through the comments, 433 comments. Notre Dame's laughing soft of college football.
Okay, well, hey, Brennan just said that on the Penn State tight end show. Brennahan or whatever.
Leonard should not take another snap at Notre Dame. I'm not sold on Riley. I like the kid from the
I don't think, you know how I love to comment on our shows. This one, I don't think I did. I stayed off of this one.
Tim, you are right. This is not an 11-1 team. It's a 9-3 team.
Hey, that schedule played out perfectly, though. I'll tell you that. Woo! Yeah. Oh man, God. What a season, man! What a season! I've actually got a couple comments. It's funny you mentioned that NIU one. I've had some people after the season like send me messages like, "Hey Tim, I rewatched the NIU and your opening like few minutes are like, wow, you were like calm and real." And I was just like, "Hey man, they lost. It's not like we hadn't seen that up to that point yet, right? That was the norm that we were learning. The rest of the season was not the normal under the Freeman
Yep.
years."
Tim said it would be an easy show, and I was like, Tim, what the hell are you talking about?
I did. That's
I
funny, Stephen. Yes, I did say. I was like, Mike, this is you were panicking, Mike. I was like, what's there panic about? We've seen this
like, Tim,
before.
this is year 3. This is the one where it's different.
It wasn't different for Bob Davey or Tyrone Willingham or 3-9 Weiss. So yeah, not all
I think
year threes are fun.
in my mind, I'm probably thinking the rest of the season, if this is the team, this is going to be a bore. It's just like, we have to do this again, right? We gotta do 2022 all over. Was that 22 is the Stanford Marshall year? We gotta do this shit again. Like, I just can't do it, Tim. All right, couple more.
Yeah, a couple more. There we go.
This one kind of bothered me.
That's funny. Someone just rewatched that and commented on.
Yeah,
that's so long ago.
This guy said a couple services crystal balled Dunham to Notre Dame, and he dropped about 10 spots in the 24/7 rankings. That tracks. And I said, show me proof. I'm looking at it. Who 24/7 didn't drop him?
No one's done recent updates.
No one's done updates. What the?
That's what I'm saying. No one's done updates in the last week or so. They did all those the last previous 2 weeks. So
I see these things. I'm like,
I know.
Like the guys commit to Notre Dame, and then they drop in the rankings crowd. This is the person, right? This is that guy, and it's like, it's just not true.
Mike, we got to do message board once, because that place cracks me up sometimes. Someone literally, I think, posted that today. You're like, hey, Dunham sent his date, and someone's like, oh, he's dropping 50. It's just, oh man.
All right, well, I'm sure the YouTube comments for this one are just gonna be roasting me for my sarcasm. Maybe that's why we only do this every 6 months or so, because I piss a lot of people off. But listen, I say this all the time. Yeah. I do this show for the fans. We do the show for the fans. I'm not trying to impress coaches or other media members or anyone else. This is me speaking to you, and my goal is to try to make you guys have a new, point of view on things, to see things differently, potentially, right? That's what I'm trying to do here, as well as entertain you, of course. And Tim's here to inform you, and I try as well.
Please comment, especially for all those that watch it back. The interaction's fun. I enjoy it. I think some of the guys that comment, we have same thing. People that comment after everyone, dive into it and have fun. So it's enjoyable. It's just a way to interact with people. That's what we're doing here. And the comments are always another way to interact. And you know me, Mike, when we started this thing, it's just, I'm just an old Marine just talking Notre Dame football, having fun, man. And that's the way I look at it and enjoy it.
Tim emailed loose emoji over 4 years ago now. Yeah. I don't have the email on my PC here, but
I had
Tim explained everything about him, included a few pictures, of him coaching, and Lou emailed it to me and was like, "What do you think?" And then the rest is history.
That's funny. Real quick on Lou, I've actually been doing a little research on my own, just diving back into the Holtz classes, looking at trying to figure out his blue chip ratio. If you're just an all-state Spanka, you're a 3-star. At USA Today, you're a 4 or 5-star. So I've been trying to mold those, and just reading some old Lou's comments back in those days. His articles have been fun. I've been doing this last couple of weeks. It's been my little spring off season, to have fun and start to dissect some of the recruiting, compare it to that era to now. Obviously, the Kelly years were solid, and we've talked about that. Solid recruiting. He had the one outlier in 13. The rest of his classes were 10 to 15. So, and Freeman's obviously hovering right around that area, and this 26 class. The best thing I think moving forward, Mike, and we have not talked about, is this the year a top 5 class? So that by not doing a show, Mike, we have made recruiting way more realistic this year.
Yes.
So that's
And what did I always tell you guys? Top five's not going to happen. Rivals, their ranking system is terrible. It's a popularity contest.
it balances out over time.
It does, but when Notre Dame would always jump out to number one, and people are, all the kids are retweeting, "Oh yeah, we got the number one class," and I'm like, guys, this is so stupid. Like, yeah, you just have more commits than everybody.
Yeah, that's why Rutgers was in the top 3 a year ago, because they had like 30 commits at this time.
This is what I would have liked to see our
there we go.
cover of the magazine with the little headshots of it. That's what I wanted, but they didn't put Minchie on. I was kind of pissed.
It's funny. I saw the Horka. This is off Horka's picture where he had all 3 guys in there, and I was like, man, I know. Yeah, right there. So I was like, I know.
This is obviously a new picture, by the way. We didn't have that for the magazine.
Yeah, you didn't have that one. So I'm like, I know. I was like, I'm going to go back because I've talked about 2012, as I thought that was the last true competition. I think some of the other ones have been just false. We kind of knew who was who heading into the season. This one was real because everyone expected Golson after redshirting to come and beat out Reese, which obviously he did. So, and Gunnar Kiel was the 5-star who redshirted that season. But this was I went and dug that out last night and posted that on Tyler's account. So I was like, man, look at that. Look at all that. That's my humble opinion. The last true quarterback battle was that year. But look at that cover. Look at those uniforms. Yeah. I went and read the article, and a lot of it was talking about Golson.
You guys go follow Tim on Twitter at Coach Timmy Hyde. Always good to pop in some replies, and there was the whole debate about the clip of the quarterbacks last week and dissecting their footwork. And Tim's a good Twitter follow. You guys should follow Tim. I'm glad you're more active on there.
That was wild. That clip. Tyler posts 13 seconds, and the whole world goes off.
Tim's emoji game is so elite. I'm gonna scroll through our.
Singer hates my emojis. That's why I do them.
Well, when Tim just is, Tim, your little brother who just kind of pokes and pokes and pokes. Tim does that sometimes. Tim kind of trolls him, and he does it with like 6 laughing emojis and like what's the thing, like you a birthday little thing that you blow and the thing expands.
The balloons on the birthday. When you get the
Tim will throw out some like party emojis, and
you gotta have fun.
Such a troll.
You gotta have fun until next week, man. Hopefully we get some reports. We learn a few things. Hopefully no one's transferring and we're having fun, right?
Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you back next week. It's Notre Dame 6-Pack Show with me, Jack Sobel. Tyler Horka will be live Wednesday at 5 p.m. and then Recruiting Show 1 p.m. Those are Eastern times. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And as always, we will catch you next time.